You didn't see her this morning like I did, like a mummy.
Oh my God, I was like, that's impossible. That's silly. There's not a baby in there.
How in God's earth can somebody do this? Why don't you just suck it up and be her mom?
On November 4th, 2011 in Whitmore, California, two women, Corey and Alejandra, stumble upon a gruesome secret buried deep in their roommate's closet. Investigators desperately search for answers but are met with a twisted web of lies and deception at every turn. While clues hint at a tragedy beyond what any could have imagined, the full horrors remain hidden, with only one person able to reveal the unsettling truth.
I just want my mom.
The following footage has never been seen before. The Julian Youth Academy, a faith-based boarding institution for troubled teens nestled in the woods of Northern California, is home to both students and staff counselors. The story begins on November 4th when a new roommate prepares to move into the dorm-style cabins. As a fellow employee, Alejandra helps the new roommate search for blankets. They soon realize that one of the counselors, 23-year-old Jessica Bradford, may have been harboring a horrifying secret. Alejandra would later explain the appalling discovery to the investigators.
Another roommate was moving in, and she didn't have anything, like any blankets and stuff, and it was really cold, so she asked me if I had any extra ones, and I told her I didn't, but I would check in Jessica's room. And then so I went over to her side, and I noticed there was like a pile in the corner with like blankets and a bunch of stuff, so I just started going through them, and then underneath a few of them, I lifted that, and I saw it there.
Buried in the blankets, Alejandra found what appeared to be a mummified baby.
And it was face first. It wasn't like to the front, and I thought it was fake. Like, you know, the first thing that just pops into your head is that's real.
According to an interview with another staff member on campus, their initial thoughts were that the baby might not have been real and only a prank for the upcoming Halloween. However, upon further inspection, something about it seemed horribly wrong.
I thought it was fake. And then, so I picked its leg, I grabbed it by the foot, because I thought it was fake, and I was going to go, like, scare the roommate that was coming in, and then I noticed that right away that it was really heavy, and it wasn't plastic. And so I turned it over, and then I saw it there, and then I called my roommate to come see it, because I didn't know what to think, and it was really like scary, you know.
Alejandra further explains that after she examined the baby's condition, she was left in a state of shock. Horrified and filled with uncertainty, the women placed the blankets back over the baby and went to bed. However, when Alejandra's roommate, Corey, woke up at 7:30 a.m. the next morning, she couldn't erase the chilling discovery from her mind.
So my other roommate that saw it also, she woke up and came to me and she's like, no, she's like, something like that's real. She's like, we have to see it, like, check it again. And then we checked, and it wasn't there anymore.
Corey and Alejandra then told their boss, Tiffany, about what they'd seen. The three women searched the campus, looking in trash bins and even inside Jessica's vehicle, but the baby had vanished. On Sunday, November 6th, 2 days following the initial discovery, staff manager Tiffany decides to contact the Shasta County Police Department, who sends Deputy Tippings to investigate. When he arrives, they fill him in on the details, and Jessica is called to the main office. When asked, Jessica admits she gave birth to the child and leads the deputy to the utility room attached to her residence. There, he discovers the remains of a baby girl, hidden beneath a pink pillow in a white laundry basket. With a body confirmed, Detective Jackson is called to the scene and brought up to speed. He brings Jessica in for an interview. However, the detective may not yet realize just how deep he'll have to dig to unearth the truth. Before entering the interview room, Detective Jackson reads Jessica a Beheller statement. In the state of California, police will use this in place of a Miranda warning when a person is speaking with the police voluntarily. It informs them that they are not under arrest and are free to stop answering questions at any time. But if the person says something incriminating, they can subsequently be arrested, at which point the police must give the Miranda warning before beginning the post-arrest interrogation. Detective Jackson asks Jessica basic questions about her background and education, learning that she was adopted at age 2 by her parents in San Diego and was a student at the Julian Youth Academy prior to her employment there. Given that a baby is involved, he next moves on to questioning Jessica about her relationship status, probing her for any details that may shed light on the situation.
And you're single? Are you mentioned you had a boyfriend. Are you guys engaged, or what's your relationship?
We're just boyfriend and girlfriend.
How long have you guys been together?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. What's his name?
Jovan. Jovan.
And what's his last name?
Castillo. Castillo.
You guys been together for 3 years? How's that relationship? Good?
The detectives will soon question Jovan, but their immediate priority is addressing the grim discovery that brought them to this room in the first place.
I didn't get a chance to look at the baby very close. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
What was her name?
You didn't name her.
After briefly stating he doesn't intend to come off as insensitive, the detective begins to ask questions of a much more personal nature.
Is it Jovan's baby the best? I mean, are you active with anybody else? No? And what's his take on what's going on as far as with the baby?
He doesn't know.
Okay.
Though the detective would soon question how no one realized she was pregnant, the more pressing question on his mind was why she chose to hide it in the first place.
How come you never told him?
So I didn't know what to do. I was scared.
Okay. Did you tell anybody that you were pregnant or allude to them that you were pregnant? You didn't tell anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you explain why? I mean, why didn't you tell anybody that you were pregnant?
Because probably it was my job. I will lose my job, and I don't know, I just didn't want to disappoint anyone.
Who would you disappoint?
Like my family and like my boss and stuff.
Jessica explains that she grew up in a Christian home where intimacy before marriage is strongly discouraged. This explanation barely scratches the surface of her motives, but for now, Jessica is about to deliver a shocking revelation to detectives, one with harrowing implications.
And how long ago did you give birth?
September 19th.
Now, in early November, this would mean Jessica has been keeping the deceased baby for nearly 2 months.
Okay, and that's when you gave birth? The Sunday night is...
They get 12 or 1.
In the morning?
Yeah, Monday morning.
So, okay.
Back at the Julian Youth Academy, Jessica's apartment is searched by crime scene investigators. Her room is in disarray, leaving them with the daunting task of sifting through the mess for evidence. A pair of gray sweatpants is discovered, with blood staining the inside. On the floor is a pink and zebra-striped blanket, soiled with unidentified dark stains. In a drawer, investigators locate several documents, each raising more questions than answers. One document reads, "Application and permit for disposition of human remains." Others include Mercy Medical Center maternity pamphlets, as well as postpartum discharge orders for Jessica. As they continue examining the documents, one small detail raises a glaring red flag, hinting that Jessica may be concealing far more than they initially suspected. They leave the scene, unaware of the evidence they missed hiding under her bed. Back in the interrogation room, the detective asks questions about the birth itself, possibly hoping it may explain what happened to the baby.
Can we talk about the birth? Let's start off with, you can start off wherever you want. Tell me about that.
Like, that morning I woke up and I was like having really, really bad cramps, so I guess it was like contractions, and then they stopped, and then that night they just kept getting worse and worse, so and then I woke and I couldn't go to sleep because the pain was so bad, and I was timing the contractions, and then I like just started pushing, I guess, and then I went outside and it just happened.
Earlier at the scene, Jessica had shown detectives a crawl space beneath the deck outside her dorm, claiming this was where she gave birth. He then asks her if she's ever witnessed a birth or been in the same room where a child was born.
I've seen knocked out though. The closest I've come.
And you don't have any other children, correct? Have you had any other pregnancy scares or anything before with Jovan?
Yeah, I thought I was, but then I wasn't. So that's
Okay, how long ago was that?
a year ago.
It seems like the detective has suspicions that Jessica is lying, given that he's aware of more than she realizes. He drops it for now, but the truth won't stay buried for long. In the meantime, Detective Jackson returns to an earlier conversation.
I want to go back to the night when you gave birth. You couldn't have been quiet, you know what I mean? I would imagine, how did you keep people from coming out and hearing you, or how'd that go down?
No one was really in there, and I was like sitting in my car, like when I was like going back and forth from my car to outside because I was like having such bad pain, and then I'd get in the shower because I thought the shower would like calm me down. So I took like 8 showers, and then just like happened, I guess.
And you stayed underneath the deck, or where else?
Yeah.
Is that where you actually gave birth? Was under the deck like you showed me?
Yeah.
Okay, so then after you give birth, were you laying down or what?
Yeah. Just like holding her and like laying there.
But when you actually gave birth, when she left the birth canal, where were you at? Were you laying down and gave birth?
No, I stood up, so she like dropped out or whatever came out of me.
Okay.
And then I didn't hear her breathing or anything, and I was like, what do we do? So it's like kind of like hitting her back, not like hard, but just like trying to get her to breathe or something, and nothing happened. And I like showered, and then like I just spent the night in my car with her. I was like so devastated. I couldn't tell anyone, I felt like.
She still has her umbilical cord on her. How did you cut it off?
No, it's just that she like fell out and it wasn't attached to me.
Okay.
It's weird.
Though her story details giving birth outside beneath the deck, the hospital discharge paperwork in her bedroom suggests she gave birth in a hospital. This begs the question, what else could she be hiding?
So you gave birth on September 19th. And it's today, it's November 6th. What's been going on the last couple months with you and the baby? What have you been doing with her?
She's been in my room, and a blanket, like in one pillow blanket things, and I don't know, I was like, should I bury her? I don't know where to bury her. I don't want to see her face. I didn't know what to do, honestly.
Did you always keep her in your room, or did you move her around, or what? I mean, because trying to keep her away from other persons, I mean, where did you store her at, say, the first couple of days afterwards? Or how? I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive.
No, I know.
I need you to help me understand that.
So I just like kept her like by like my closet area, like where my stuff's hung up, and under like blankets and stuff.
Did anybody ever make any comments about any odors or anything?
I thought I'd smell stuff too, and it was like I thought about like every day, like what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I don't know. Just what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking.
While Jessica admits she kept the baby in her closet, the basket was earlier located in the utility room, likely prompting the detective's next question.
Tonight, the hamper is in the laundry room with the blanket and pillow. How did she get there?
I put her there? Oh, I put her, like, why did I put her in there?
Yeah,
Well, I knew that, like, someone saw her because, like, the blankets, and, like, I had clothes and stuff on top, and I knew that they were, like, brushed off. And so I was like, oh, someone probably saw her. And then, so I hid her like down in that electrical room because I don't know. So,
When did you think somebody ran across her or saw her?
Friday night.
Did anybody confront you about it? You just noticed that some sheets and stuff were messed? So from Friday night to now, where have you kept her? Just down in the electrical room?
Mm-hmm.
Who all uses that room?
No one.
And you're talking about, because I thought that was like a laundry room, or is it just electrical?
It's like
There's
a
water heaters in there?
Yeah, no one goes in there.
Though she claims the child wasn't breathing, her story suggests she chose to hide the baby rather than seek help. Jessica's motives surrounding the incident remain unclear. However, the interrogation is far from over. For now, the fact that she was able to hide her growing belly from so many people leaves the detective seemingly baffled.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around that nobody's called you out on it.
No, I didn't tell anyone and no one confronted me or anything like that.
While Jessica's claims may be challenging for detectives to believe, a series of interviews reveal that many of her friends and co-workers were unaware she had been pregnant. Others, however, were less surprised. Their shocking revelations and jaw-dropping details surrounding Jessica's behavior shed light on the situation.
Behind her back, me and people would say, like, she has to be pregnant. Like, it didn't look like just a normal overweight stomach, but I thoroughly, like 100% believed that her and Javon weren't having. So I just thought that that was how she carried her weight, and that it was unfortunate because girls would ask if she was pregnant, not on a really regular basis, but every once in a while. So I would just be like, don't say that. It's not nice. Like, don't point out that someone's overweight. Like, but I would just roll. I would like, she's not pregnant and you guys know that. Knock it off. Like, I would just try and roll it off.
Okay.
Like, it was nothing. For whatever reasons, we just believed her when she said that her and Javon weren't having.
Jessica's other roommate, Alejandra, was asked the same question. Though she gives a similar response, she adds a grotesque detail that appears to pique the detective's interest.
3 weeks ago, I found this like piece of I don't know what it was. It was just really bloody, and I guess people were saying that's what happens after you have a miscarriage. I don't know. It was like a piece of something on the bathroom floor in front of her sink.
According to manager Tiffany, she too saw what she described as a piece of flesh. It was retrieved from the bathroom and brought back to the main office, where it was placed on a deck and photographed. Afterward, a dog supposedly ate it, bringing a gruesome end to the disturbing mystery. In the meantime, though it appears that no one knew for sure whether she was pregnant, Jessica herself was aware months before the birth. This is likely what prompts the detective's next line of questioning.
When the weeks when you realized that you were actually pregnant, how are you going to deal with it? I mean, obviously you didn't know things were going to happen the way they did, so what was your game plan? What were you going to do?
Like, I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, I was like Googling safe surrender sites because like I didn't have like an adoption anything set up. So like that's what I was thinking. I would drive to like Chico or something because I didn't want to do it here.
Why didn't you want to do it here?
Reading's weird. Maybe Chico's more normal, I guess.
The detective returns back to something Jessica mentioned earlier in the investigation. It appears as though he's giving her one last chance to come clean about an earlier lie.
Now, you mentioned you had another scare about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that one to me.
Like March of last, like 2010, I did have another baby.
Yeah. What happened then?
And I went to the hospital and stuff, and I like had a stillbirth, I guess. Then so I like didn't want to tell Javon because he like did take me to the hospital, and he was like so heartbroken and like seeing that. I don't know. I just like didn't want to put him through that again. That's why I like didn't want to get help or tell him or anything. And I just feel like such a horrible person because I feel like that's not me at all.
The postpartum discharge paperwork found in Jessica's room was dated March 22, 2010. The decedent listed on the document was Bella Castillo. The document further stated the body was cremated. Her ashes were later discovered in a cardboard box hidden under Jessica's bed. According to an autopsy report later obtained by investigators, Bella was a fully developed infant who died of complications caused by multiple factors. She admitted that she hid this pregnancy from everyone as well, including Javon, who only found out about it when he took her to the hospital after her water broke. Now that she's been caught in a lie, the detective's concerns appear to deepen, as he may suspect there's far more that she's withholding. His fears are seemingly realized when another witness who works on the property hears the news and contacts investigators with a disturbing claim. What he says next threatens to alter the entire course of the investigation and sends it spiraling toward a dark and twisted end.
About a month and a half ago, I was working behind one of the buildings, and I actually heard a baby crying in there.
Okay.
It's like a duplex. No one lives in there. It's empty. So I grabbed the keys, drove back to the building. And as I'm driving back there, I see Jessica Bradford pass me in her car. So anyway, I drive to the apartment. I walk in, and it's just empty. There's nothing. There's no, evidence of anybody staying in there.
Dwayne would later indicate on a map of the property exactly where he heard the crying, a clue that would soon lead investigators to another shocking discovery. For now, the witness's claim appears to leave the detectives with no choice but to draw a horrifying conclusion.
My concern is that the baby, when she came out, she was alive. And today she's not, and I didn't know why.
In a devastating admission, Jessica reveals the heartbreaking truth.
She was alive.
I know that. What happened? Come on, Jessica, come on. Yes.
I just held her as long as I could, and I tried to breastfeed, but nothing was coming out, and I was trying my best. I don't know. And then so I was got in my car so many times to take her to Chico, but I couldn't get myself to do it, and then it said only 48 hours, so it was well, she's mine, and I didn't know what to do. I was oh, do I take her to the ER? I don't know. And my milk just wasn't producing, so I couldn't feed her, and I was should I go to Walmart and get formula? And then I didn't know what to do.
Okay. So what did you do?
I just
Jessica, tell me. What'd you do?
I just took care of her, tried to feed her, and I guess she just starved. I didn't harm her or anything. It wasn't intentional. I wanted.
Okay. I just need to know the truth. What did you try to feed her?
Just my milk. She wasn't producing anything.
Well, how many days did this go on?
4.
With the disturbing realization that the child may have been alive on the property for several days, the detective appears concerned with where she may have been keeping her.
Where'd you go? Let's talk about it. This is the stuff I need to understand. Where'd you go? How'd you hide out?
It was an empty apartment on campus, and I had her in there, with blankets and heat, and I bathed her in there, and slept in there with her. I just did my best I could. I could just go and check on her and stuff, and work and stay there as late as I could and stuff like that.
Did you try to give her regular milk? Did you get bottles?
I tried to give her. I didn't have any bottles, so it was just putting my finger, whatever you do.
Why didn't you just step up and say, I have a baby and I need help?
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I want to buy everything.
Well, I understand that.
I killed someone.
I guess if Javon was so upset about the stillborn, I think he would be elated about this. Wouldn't he?
I mean, what?
That he'd be happy. Now, You know what I mean?
I mean, I think so, but I don't know.
How long? What day did she die?
We went and checked on her, and I think it was like Thursday. I don't remember the days really of it.
So why didn't she just call for help?
I don't know. I regret it so much.
Though it's been revealed that a maintenance worker did in fact hear the child, a later call from a distressed employee will shockingly suggest that he may not have been the only one. For now, unwilling to accept her vague explanations, the detective offers Jessica an alternative explanation for why she didn't seek help.
Did you think that your life would be better without her? Because you said you had so much going for you.
Really,
Did you feel that if you didn't have her, you'd be better off?
The only reason, like, I think like that is because if I had a baby, then I don't have a job, and like, I don't have a place to live, and like, and then Javon doesn't have a job, and he doesn't have a place to live, and it was just like,
What was her name?
I didn't need her.
Why?
I don't know.
Think. I just want to try to help you, Jessica.
Jessica's admission casts a disturbing light on the situation, but the most crucial details, what really happened in the days following the birth, remain unclear.
I didn't harm the baby. I didn't give her anything. I didn't take anything like that. I didn't do anything to her to hurt her.
So there's, when the coroners look at her, there's no
No.
there's no blunt force trauma. Have you ever heard that term before?
No.
Okay, like she wasn't beat, nothing like that.
No.
So the coroner's going to come back and basically say that, and it may sound bad, that she died of starvation. What about the umbilical cord?
What about?
I
didn't cut it. She fell out, and
Okay.
I thought it was weird because I was like, don't I have to cut it? And
Yeah, usually you do. And usually, I mean, that's like some pretty tough stuff.
yeah, so I didn't understand that part.
After a long day filled with tragic discoveries, there's little the detectives can do but wait for the coroner's report, which will ultimately reveal whether Jessica has been honest. He offers to drive Jessica back to the academy, but first lets her know he must perform a routine test. The detective steps out of the room to retrieve a DNA kit, which will confirm that the remains of the baby are a match with Jessica. As he performs the DNA swab, Jessica receives a text relaying bad news.
Boyfriend? Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you mean?
But I asked him, and he said, "What do you know?" And he's like, "I'll tell you later." He told me I can't pull back my fire or something.
He what?
I guess Sarah, one of the other managers, said that I can't come back up there.
He told you, she said that?
He said, Sarah says you need to get a hotel tonight.
Can we confirm that so we don't drive all the way? Is he coming
Yeah,
down
he's
to bring
coming
your
down.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll take care of that before we get done. So if I don't want them coming back saying anything other than, yeah, it just looks like exposure or maybe starvation. And if it is, you need to tell me now.
Is what?
Is she gonna,
Oh, no.
did you,
No.
once I have the autopsy tomorrow, I'll get a hold of you.
With the initial interview concluded, the detective takes Jessica to meet Javon at a local Ramada Inn hotel, where the two spend the night. The following morning, the two are brought back to the station for more questioning. It appears the detective's first concern is with clarifying what Jessica did, if anything, to keep the child alive.
When I was down talking with the coroner, I told myself, well, just try to give water. And I couldn't remember. And I remember you saying that you were put some water on your finger just to try to dip it in the mouth or on the tongue. How else did you try to provide water?
I just tried with the cup, but I didn't want to. Okay, so I would sit up and just try and have her drink out of that, but it just wasn't working. And so I just tried with my finger constantly.
And any milk products, like cow milk, goat milk? And I know we talked about breastfeeding. Did you ever think that you had her latch on where she was able to ever breastfeed?
Like if she actually got milk,
Mhm.
like that clear stuff, but it wasn't like producing, so it was just like.
The days when she was with us, talk to me about some of her clothes, diapers, stuff like that. What did you have?
I just had her in blankets. I'd bathe her after she like went to the bathroom and stuff like that, and then just put her in new blankets.
While Jessica continues to speak with Detective Jackson, Javon is questioned in the next room. Javon claimed he knew of the first pregnancy only after Jessica gave birth, and when Bella passed away, they kept the pregnancy and what he called a miscarriage a secret from their family and friends. He also claims that he had no idea Jessica was pregnant a second time, contributing her recent weight gain to a lack of exercise and not eating right. The detective noted that Javon seemed shocked and surprised when they told him she'd given birth to a second child.
You had her on early Monday morning. You were off that day. You were off Tuesday.
Yep.
Went back to work Wednesday. So you went back to work at 7. You took her to that vacant residence the first day? When you were working the first day, you took her, where did she stay while you were working? In that apartment? Okay.
The apartment Jessica is referring to is an uninhabited cabin identified as Pasture 2, earlier referenced by the maintenance worker. Its most recent inhabitant was her roommate Corey, one of the 2 women who discovered the baby. Investigators would later search this cabin and uncover many unsettling clues that deliver a shocking twist to Jessica's many claims. For now, Jessica explains that she kept the baby in the unoccupied apartment each day while she went to work and would spend a few hours with her each night.
So now we're up to Thursday. And I think that's the day that you told me that you found her.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. And I found her after work on Thursday.
Dead?
Yeah.
What did you do at that point?
Cried myself. And I put her in my car, and I was like, what am I going to do? And then I just put her, I just carried the blankets into my room, and then my basket was in my room, and I put her in there.
And that's where she's been ever since those weekends.
Once again, the detective asks a question that's been posed several times, seemingly unwilling to give up without a concrete answer.
So at some point, you had to realize, you had a little self-revelation that what you're doing was not the right thing to do, and that you needed to do something. And I guess my question is why didn't you, Jessica? I mean, come on, listen. Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you take her to the hospital? Why didn't you? It's your baby.
I know.
Why didn't you name her? I mean, that's your baby. You named Bella.
You know.
Why didn't you name this one?
I don't know. I just didn't.
Didn't want to be attached and go through what you did last time? I mean, just tell me. Okay, I don't want to have to sit here and pull. I mean, I know a lot of the answers that's coming from you. Okay? But you're making it harder on both of us today. Okay? Why didn't you name her?
Because I feel like if I named her, then it was real. And I was it was a bad dream to me. I didn't want to think about it after it was all over. I was thinking about a name and stuff like that, but I don't know, how I didn't feel like I could name her after what I did to her. You know?
What'd you do to her?
I didn't take care of her. I would step up.
But you didn't name her before all that. You didn't have her name before you gave birth. We're not talking about not naming her after birth. You had no name in mind. Yes or no? Jessica, You weren't planning on keeping her.
While the detective can't know for sure, further conversations with one of Jessica's co-workers, Melissa, may add weight to his theory. When the detective asked Melissa if she had any idea Jessica had been pregnant, she shared a startling clue about Jessica's behavior in the recent months leading up to the birth.
We, based off of her lifestyle, we just kind of assumed that she wasn't pregnant.
Okay, and now you said something that kicked my interest. What do you mean based off her lifestyle?
We assumed that she wasn't pregnant because she was still drinking. So.
And drinking quite a bit, or just drink on occasion?
Quite a bit.
And how often?
I know, I can say for sure, on our weekend, at least, she would go into town and get pretty intoxicated, at least one day a week, if not more.
This allegation may be a cause for concern for investigators, given her pregnancy at the time. However, it's important to note that Melissa's opinion regarding the matter has not been verified.
That Monday night, how long did you leave her overnight?
By yourself?
Mm-hmm.
We went down the mountain at 5 and then came back at I don't remember.
That's the night you went to Winco. That Monday night.
An earlier search of Jessica's car uncovered a receipt for Winco Foods located in Redding, California, 30 miles away from the Julian Youth Academy. It was dated September 19th, the same day Jessica claims to have given birth.
You went to Winco that night. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, you went to Winco that night. What'd you buy at Winco? You went with Jovan?
Yeah.
Okay, so 14 hours after you have the baby, you go to Redding with Jovan to Winco. You remember that night?
Yes.
What'd you get at Winco that night?
Well, our friends go bike riding all around, so I just bought alcohol.
Her admission is curious, given that the receipt only showed one purchase for a $1.88 bag of cookies. However, given that Jovan was with her at the time, it's possible that he made the purchase himself.
What did you buy for the baby?
Nothing.
So then you go to Winco. Where do you go from there?
We ride bikes and then we get back at 2 or 3, and then I drop Jovan off and then I go over there and just right back to my house at 6.
We're talking about 2 or 3 in the morning till 6 a.m. You spend with her, and then you go back to your place. Okay, so now it's Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Day off from work.
And then I don't remember what I did, but I'm pretty sure I woke up and went back over there. She was sleeping and I was trying to breastfeed again, and she would just latch on and fall asleep kind of, so I just tried to squeeze my boob to let milk come out, and just nothing was coming out, so I just tried to give her water again. And
Giving water by the finger,
yeah,
you put it in her mouth, or still trying to give her some water by
from
finger?
her cup too. Both.
Was it successful? Did it seem like she was getting any nourishment? Did it seem like she was getting water? Or was the water just pouring out of her mouth? Because, babies don't drink that way.
Yeah.
That's why they have to latch on.
Yeah. No, it just go in her mouth, and then she make that like a sucky noise, and so there was still water in the cup and stuff like that, so I guess she wasn't getting it. And then so then I do 48 hours were up for the surrender thing, and I was okay, what am I gonna do?
Though this is the second time Jessica has mentioned her 48 hours being up, under the safely surrendered baby law in the state of California, a parent can safely surrender a baby confidentially and without fear of prosecution up to 72 hours after birth. Despite her apparent misunderstanding, it's her next admissions that seem to bring the detective's patience inching closer to an abrupt end.
I was it's Wednesday tomorrow after work. I was I'll just take a sick day and I'll take it. And so I like went to work and I was like acting like I didn't feel good, and Tiffany was just like, "Fine, just stick it out or whatever." So I didn't take the day off. So then I was just like, I was like, okay, I'll just wait till my day's off and hopefully she'll make it.
You know that wasn't going to happen. I mean, how many times a day do you eat? You know what I mean? You know that wasn't going to happen. And I think that.
Hoping and praying it would.
But listen,
No.
you knew that wasn't going to happen, Jessica. I'm not putting words in it. I'm telling you, you knew that wasn't going to happen, and you knew that she'd pass away.
I was hoping I'd get my milk or something.
But you didn't. Why are you leaving her in a room that there's no air conditioning or heating or what? I mean, there's nothing on in that room. Did you set the air conditioner?
No, I didn't do anything. It was just like, it wasn't like hot or cold. It was like room temperature in there.
Right, probably 75, 80 degrees. But you're still, I mean, just leaving her there so anybody could come see her. Now, I'll be honest, Jessica. You let her starve so that your life wasn't affected. And you figured once she was dead, you could go about your life. But when she did die, for some reason something clicked and you couldn't follow through with it for whatever reason. Okay? Yes or no?
What do you mean follow through with what?
You couldn't do it anymore. Once you realized she died, you couldn't bury her, you couldn't do anything with her. Why did you keep her? I mean, she's dead. She's gone. Okay? You can go back to your normal life. Why did you keep her?
Because I didn't want to let go of her.
But you didn't do anything to help her. Okay? You're smart enough. You know what you needed to do. You knew that. Why didn't you? If she's not screaming loud and no one's hearing it, and you did something else.
No, I didn't do anything like that. No, I didn't do anything like that.
Because there's no way. We've been up there. Okay? There's no way that baby, 4 days hungry, is going to be quiet. Okay? That baby had to have cried, had to have screamed. Well, that baby wasn't able to. Okay? What did you do to her?
I didn't do anything.
Because
I swear.
Stop, listen to me. There's no way she could have gone for 2 or 3 days in that room screaming without anybody hearing her. She was next door to an apartment that was occupied.
They weren't home.
There was people walking around. It's September, mid-September, sunny, 85 to 90 degrees, people walking around. There's 90 people up there. 90 people.
Honestly, I don't know how no one heard her. That's what I'm wondering.
I know how. She wasn't alive to scream.
I swear I did not kill her. I didn't do anything to her. I promise you. I swear.
Tell me how. Stop. Tell me how. You have to. You got to understand where I'm coming from.
Tell you how what?
How do people not hear her scream in the middle of the night? Dead silent. Whitmore. Screams in the middle of the night.
I have no idea. The house next to where I was, they were on vacation in Riverside home. The next apartment over is way over.
There's maintenance guys that walk around and take care of stuff. Walk around the yards, mowing the lawns, cleaning up the stuff. It's simple. You walk down any residential street, any given time when there's a baby, and there's a good chance over 3 days you're going to hear the baby screaming.
Like honestly, I could hear her like a little bit when I was outside of the building, and that's it. And I had her like kind of further away from the window, and there was like a closet, but it's just like one of those like ones that it was open. It was just like a where you put your desk kind of thing. So I put her in there, but I don't.
Was she covered up so she could to muffle her cries?
No, I had 2 pillows right here and a pillow right here, and then blankets around her. And she was like swaddled in blankets. That's it. I never put my hand. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't muzzle her. I didn't do anything. I comforted her. That's it. I didn't see her at all. I know it sounds like freaking bullshit. I don't have, like, I couldn't do that.
But you could let her starve to death.
I know, it doesn't add
You
up.
can't get her to put her out of her misery, so yet you're going to let her suffer and starve to death.
As explained earlier, staff member Ann did in fact hear the baby's cries. After Jessica's secret circulated in the media, she called detectives with her story, seemingly panicked by the realization that came too late. She further explains her thoughts following the emotional discovery.
I was like, that's weird. I looked in, and I couldn't see anything. I mean, yeah, there was nothing weird.
Okay.
I was like, okay, it must be a ringtone or like some computer thing or like one of those dolls that people use to practice raising a baby or something. I was just like, that was weird, but it sounded so real, and I was like, no, but that can't be. That's ridiculous, and I didn't see anything, and I was just like, okay, that was weird, and I didn't even think of it until I just saw September 19th. I was like, that's impossible. That's silly. There's not a baby in there.
As the second interview nears its end, Detective Jackson delivers his final confrontation with Jessica. But her following admission is only further compounded by the discovery awaiting them in the cabin where the baby met her tragic, untimely end.
Let's cut the shit here, okay? I don't like to cuss, but let's just cut to the chase here. If she passed away, your problems were solved. You didn't have to be embarrassed. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that why you let her pass? You're struggling. I want to know why you're struggling. Because you know what the right answer is, but you don't want to say it because you know how bad it sounds. You don't want to hear it come out of your mouth. You don't want to hear it.
But I feel like my feelings are totally different than like what my actions were.
Well,
You know?
I'm telling you, you need to tell me what your feelings are because your actions are showing that you are that person. That you are that horrible person that just let the baby die. Okay? That's what your actions are showing. I'm the only one speaking for that baby right now, and I don't even have a name for her. What do I call her? I don't have a name for that. Okay? So I'm sitting here, I'm her voice today. I'm the only one that can speak for that girl, okay? You didn't see her this morning like I did. Okay? Mummified. Okay? Petrified, like a mummy. And I'm sitting there, I'm asking myself, how in God's earth can somebody do this to a defenseless little baby?
And that's why I was like so weirded out because I was like, this is like when I saw her, she like had her one arm up and like her legs were crossed and like her eyes were like kind of open and I was like, what is this God like saying? Like, what the hell did you do? Like, why is she like, what? Who dies like that? It was just so weird to me. I can't get that image out of my head. And I mean, I deserve it. Like, I did it.
But why? Why didn't you just give her for adoption? Why didn't you just suck it up and be her mom and provide for her? Because you didn't want to lose your job? Well, you lost your job. Now look at it. Because you didn't want to disappoint Devon? Well, guess what? You've been lying to him for the last 24 hours. Okay? I mean, come on, Jessica. You're 22, 23 years old. You know right and wrong. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay? You've been brought up enough. You've been taught enough. We talked about all that stuff. You know that. This doesn't make sense. You're not crazy.
I feel like I am.
How?
Like what? Like, I know all the right answers and I know what to say, but like, why? Like, who's inside me that would like do that? I don't understand it. Like, I can't comprehend it. I feel like...
I don't know. How could you care so much about yourself and let your baby die and not really give a care about that? How does a person get to that point?
I have no idea.
How do you get to that point, Jessica?
When the detective asked Javon how he felt knowing she didn't confide in him, he stated, "It makes me feel like I'm hanging out with a psycho." He further added that he felt as though Jessica's parents would have openly accepted a grandchild into the family and had even asked in the past when he and Jessica were going to have a child. The detective continues to pressure Jessica in an apparent attempt to get her to explain her motives using her own words.
Jessica, I can't sit here and say that you cared about your baby. You cared about you. How does a person get to that point? Where do we go from here? I know enough doing my job. I know enough about persons and people. I'd be a fool to sit here and think that you're going to stand up and tell me 100% as far as what your thoughts were after that first 48 hours. After you realize I can't take her to adoption, I know what happened, okay? I know it clicked in your head, okay? You're not the first person that sat in my chair.
Well, like selfish thoughts?
Sure.
Is that what you're saying?
You tell me, Jessica. You keep asking me questions to ask you. You tell me. This is your turn to tell me. I don't need to sit here and ask you. You need to tell me. Because listen, okay, this is big time. Okay, this isn't games. This isn't 22-year-old chicken girl stuff, okay? A baby died because of you.
I know.
So suck it up and tell me what you thought, what you were doing. It's that simple. Do you not have enough character to do that?
I do, but like...
Do you not care enough? No, you know what? You do care enough about you. You don't care enough about her or anything else. It's about you. That's what you're telling me by not telling me what you need to. Okay? This isn't my first day. Okay? I know what I'm doing. I know what you did. Why did you do that? Why did you give her up? Why did you let her die?
I guess I just...
Well, here's the deal. You're not going to tell me, are you?
I'm trying to tell you.
Time's running out.
I'm trying to explain.
Then explain it, Jessica. I leave this room again. I may not come back here. You need to tell me now. The time's ticking.
Finally, Jessica offers her own explanation, but nothing could have prepared the detective for the disturbing and twisted logic behind her reasoning.
I guess it's just selfish reasons, and I'm thinking, like, okay, my milk's not coming in, like, what, like, there has to be a reason, like, you know, just, like, stupid going through my head the whole time, like, okay, you know, maybe she's not meant to live, maybe, I'm not producing milk for a reason, like, okay, that's stupid, what, like, okay, if she can make it to my days off, then it's meant to happen, she's meant to live, like, just stupid things like that were going through my head the whole time, and I'm like, okay, I'll take her down, like, just like stupid
This
stuff,
is what I'm asking you about. That's not stupid stuff. I know, I understand where that came from.
I'm such a crazy person saying it, and like honestly, like it wasn't about like me, like I really cared for her, but like I just really cared for Javon, and I didn't want to like mess things up for him because he's like has such a hard like upbringing, and I just didn't want to bring another thing on his plate, and it's just.
Say it, Jessica.
Like, I haven't looked at it as being selfish until, like, you said something, but I guess it was me being selfish in mine and Javon's life. And I don't know why I didn't take in consideration, like, her well-being. What happens now?
You're gonna be arrested.
For what?
Child endangerment causing death.
What does that mean?
Murder.
What does that mean? I'm gonna be in prison for the rest of my life?
That I don't know.
Back at the academy, the Pasture 2 cabin where the baby was kept is thoroughly searched by crime scene investigators. Among the items found were several baby bottles, lactation aid tea bags and supplements, a stroller, a playpen, and a medical breast pump, adding confusion to Jessica's story. New questions arose. Where did the items come from? And if she had the means and supplies to care for the baby, why didn't she? After a few days of sitting in jail, Jessica is returned to the interview room to question her about the discovery.
In this house, there was baby stuff up there that we saw. Was it there when you were there?
I didn't look.
Did you use the breast pump that was up there?
No, I didn't look. Because Corey has a baby, and then there's a girl who had a baby who lived in there, but I didn't look around for anything like that.
Okay.
Because I thought they moved out completely.
With the revelation that previous staff members were allowed to care for their babies on campus, and that Jessica neglected to use any of the items left behind in Pasture 2, Jessica is left with no more excuses. As one detective leaves the room, the other offers her one last opportunity to explain herself.
Again, we just came back to that question that we went down there with, and that we left really without being able to get answers for, is the why. So, any thoughts on that?
Like, I want to know why, too. Like, I don't know, you know? It's not me. Like, my actions I took were not, like, I know I did them, but, like, you know, it's just, like, I don't even know who I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I just want my mom.
Due to the advanced state of decomposition, an autopsy was unable to clearly rule out a cause of death for the baby. According to the report, there were no signs of blunt force trauma or other indications that the victim was physically assaulted. However, starvation could not be ruled out as a factor in her death. On November 9, 2011, Jessica Nicole Bradford was charged with murder and child abuse with a special allegation for great bodily injury. She was found guilty of first-degree murder, while the other charges were dismissed. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years and remains incarcerated at the Central California Women's Facility in Shasta, California.